Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I am going to be sharing my bull market portfolio with you. There's 21 coins that I feel will outperform the rest of the crypto market this bull cycle. So if you want to know those coins that are forming part of my portfolio, stay tuned because I'm about to tell you exactly what they are. So this portfolio has been put together. Basically, it's been split into five different narratives. Okay. The main one is really just blue chips, or the largest one is just going to be blue chips. So these are cryptos that are going to be safe, stable, secure. We know they're going to be around in 2 years' time. We don't have to worry too much about these cryptos disappearing or there being some sort of project infighting or some sort of legal action or lawsuits or FUD that is significantly gonna mean that any of these cryptos crash to zero. So that is why the blue chips are going to make up around about 50% of the portfolio. I've then got four other narratives. There's really three narratives, and the fourth one is really more of a sort of other category around other tokens that don't fit into one of the three narratives that I've highlighted. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to go through it. I'm going to reveal my portfolio. And then at the end of this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the buy price that the coins are currently at, and we're going to put it as today's date. And then we are going to basically hodl this portfolio until later in the bull run, at which point we will then sell these positions to realize a profit. And I will actually share with you that based on a $10,000 investment, exactly how much I expect this portfolio to be worth in little under 2 years' time. Okay. As I fully expect the high for the next bull run to come in before the end of November 2025. And I think you probably agree that even if you get close to the projected returns for this portfolio, you're going to be pretty happy with the investment you've made. So let's start out by the first category, and I've already given it away. I'm sure you can guess what some of these cryptos are already, but let me reveal it for you. So these are our blue chips. These are our big cryptocurrencies, our dominant cryptocurrencies with massive communities, massive network effect that are not going anywhere at all. And obviously there's no guesses for guessing which crypto coin is number one. It is Bitcoin. It is the king. We've got to have Bitcoin in here. I think everybody has to have a strong allocation to Bitcoin. It is the lifeblood of crypto. And I hear many times people turn around to me and say, well, they'll share with me their portfolios and they'll have some ETH and they'll have some Solana, they'll have some Cardano, XRP, etc., etc. And I'll be like, where's your Bitcoin? And they'll be like, Bitcoin's too expensive. I'm not paying that much for a crypto coin. And I think people don't completely understand what Bitcoin is or what Bitcoin does. And certainly they don't understand the supply-demand dynamics, because the beauty about Bitcoin, if we just come over to CoinGecko, is the fixed supply. Okay, Bitcoin, there's only ever going to be 21 million of Bitcoins out in total circulation. And we've already mined over, or we've already got circulating over 19.5 million. So when we look at this, we know exactly why Bitcoin is going to keep on going up in value, and that's because of its scarcity. There's not enough Bitcoin to go around, okay? And as supply, or as the Bitcoin goes through these 4-year halving cycles, and the reward to the miners gets cut in half every 4 years, that obviously means that miners have less Bitcoin to sell onto the open market. Supply is going down. Demand for Bitcoin is only going to go higher. as demand for a easily transferable, easily storable, completely decentralized global asset, hard asset that can't be inflated increases over the years. Demand for Bitcoin is only going to keep on going up. Supply is eventually going to run out, and prices are just going to completely moon, especially when you add in things like ETFs are now about to be approved, a spot ETF in the USA that's only going to ramp up demand even more. So it really is a scarcity play. It's a great store of value, and that's why it has to be number one in the portfolio for me, okay? And what this is going to do is it's going to make your returns a little bit more stable. We know when Bitcoin corrects 10, 15, 20%, which it will do throughout the bull market, we know that altcoins fall half as fast. And if you've got an allocation to Bitcoin, you can rest fairly assured that that portion of your portfolio is fairly stable. You can sleep at night knowing that Bitcoin's still going to be around, okay? So that's why Bitcoin. Ethereum doesn't need too much of an explanation, but for those who aren't, fairly new to crypto, it is smart contracts, it is DeFi, it is what everything is built on. Think of Ethereum as really where all the developers are building. Like it's got more devs than any network, it's got more activity than any network, and it's going to be around most definitely in 2 years. BlackRock have actually come out with filings now regarding an Ethereum ETF. So after the Bitcoin ETF, we're going to see an Ethereum spot ETF as well. There's already a futures ETF. The SEC are backed into a corner. They can't necessarily now refuse a spot Ethereum ETF after approving a futures Ethereum ETF. I think ETFs for other assets might be more of a challenge, but it's definitely pretty much a done deal for Bitcoin now, and it will be for Ethereum too. So Ethereum, I think, has a really, really bright future. Solana, what can we say? I'm not too sure if it's an Ethereum killer, but it's certainly a competitor. The adoption metrics, things like transactions, new wallet addresses, are completely off the charts with Solana. It's absolutely exploded from its lows when it was down at under $10 a few months ago. Obviously, after the FTX collapse, it got really, really battered. And you just thought to yourself, like, is there any way that this project can survive? But not only has it survived, it seems to be thriving now. It's getting a lot of attention. A lot of people are speaking about Solana as being the next Ethereum or the real challenger to Ethereum this cycle. And I think those predictions and expectations are completely valid. I have used quite recently started to use Solana on-chain myself, and I think it's a very slick network, very easy to use, and there's a lot of growth. There's a lot of things like new games coming onto Solana. It's got its own meme coin with Bonk. The exchanges are working very well. So I think we're going to see Solana really, really do well this cycle, and it's one of my number one picks. I think every portfolio after Bitcoin and ETH, you really need to have Solana in. After that, we've got Link. So Link is basically an Oracle blockchain. It connects real-world applications with the blockchain. And again, this is really in here due to its importance and its use case. We need oracles to be able to communicate with other financial systems and other products out there in the world. And Link definitely has a dominant position in that. If you're going to say sort of Bitcoin is dominant within store of value, Ethereum is dominant within smart contracts, obviously been challenged by Solana now, so we'll see how that battle goes over the next few years. But Link really is on its own in terms of being dominant when it comes to oracles, so it has to be in there. And number 5 for me is AVAX. So AVAX basically has something called subnets. This is where they can actually use the AVAX blockchain within their own network, so actually give their own networks to different protocols. And a great example of this is for say, for example, games. They need to be quick. They need everything to happen instantly. And obviously, if they've got their own network, there's no congestion there. So AVAX, in terms of a technology perspective, is doing some really great things. It's also seen a lot of attention and focus lately. It's having a lot of games starting to be released on it and a lot of development on it. So I think AVAX is right up there as well. And I don't see AVAX going anywhere at all, especially with going on to my next narrative, which is actually gaming, and gaming being such a strong narrative. I think we're really going to see AVAX do very well. So these are obviously the portfolio weightings. Obviously, on the hypothetical amount of 10,000, this is what we would be allocating in terms of dollar value. And obviously, I will put the buy prices in as of today's date in this column, just to track how we're doing. And over here, this is just an idea of the multiples that I think could be possible from these assets. And I'll actually reveal at the end what the dollar amount would be based on these returns if you were to invest, say, $10,000 into this portfolio. So moving on to the next section, I've already given it away. It is gaming. So within gaming, we've got IMX at 5%. So IMX is actually a layer one solution. It is a blockchain which is geared up for games, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to get legacy games or Web 2 games to move into Web 3. So they're partnering, they're trying to come up with partnerships with current games to try and get them on board and involved. And I think it's a great approach and tactic. And yeah, I think IMX is going to do very, very well, especially if the gaming narrative really runs. It's more of an infrastructure play. It's probably not going to give you biggest as much growth as, say, for example, some of the other gaming plays, but I think it will do very, very well. We've got Gala Games as well, which for me is one of the leading gaming studios. They've got Gala Games. A couple of years back, they came out with Gala Films. So I think there's a lot of growth. There's a lot of activity with Gala. They had a bit of FUD over the last couple of months. So there was rumors to be some sort of lawsuit going on between owners or between founders in Gala, something to do with a private jet being bought with company funds. Who knows the actual ins and outs and details of it, but it did mean that Gala did fall quite a lot on the back of that news. And for me, again, FUD right at the end of the bear market, great time to take advantage of those low prices and those discounts. And it's good to see that Gala has started to recover and people are getting their confidence in Gala back now. So I still think Gala has a bright future and will do very, very well. I think it has a little bit of a first mover advantage on the space. There's other gaming studios which are coming along, that are coming out with games and will be challenging Gala, but I still think Gala for now is number one. We've got VRA, which is more of an advertising, like in-game advertising play. So they're doing a lot of work with esports. And I think in-game advertising and advertising spaces in things like metaverses is going to be absolutely huge as we move into more of a virtual world in the future. And VRA for me is a really exciting project, and it has to be in one of my top gaming picks. And then we've got Illuvium. So Illuvium is another gaming studio. They're actually about to launch their own game very, very shortly. And again, I just think that crypto like Illuvium or a team like Illuvium, they are kind of front of the curve here. So I've gone for more established gaming names that are towards the front of the curve that I think are going to really be able to get some momentum into the gaming sector and really outperform. There are obviously lower cap plays, and there are other gaming houses and studios that you might want to look into if you are really determined to get into gaming and actually build more of a gaming based portfolio. And I will cover some of those in a future video, but for now, these are my top 4 gaming picks. And then the next narrative we've got is AI. So goes without saying how transformative and the importance of AI is likely to be in our lives over the next decade. I mean, we've seen massive news come out lately with the whole ChatGPT fiasco where the CEO was apparently fired and then he's taken a job for Microsoft and now he's been rehired. Obviously Elon Musk is coming out voicing concerns and now he's retaliated. He's come out with something called Grok due to the biases with OpenAI or ChatGPT. So yeah, it's just absolutely captivating the entire investment space, this AI narrative. And I think it's something for more traditional investors to really get their head around and understand. A little bit like gaming, I think it's very, very easy for people to understand the gaming narrative and to buy into the hype of a new game. I think with AI, it's very easy to buy into that AI hype because we all see the effects and the just how transformative AI can be. It can literally revolutionize the majority of our companies, and it's going to be a massive thing going forward. So you'll notice obviously the weighting's 20% on gaming because gaming is my top sector for this bull run, but beneath that AI coming in at 9%, and my top picks are Render, Fetch AI, and also Ocean. So again, I won't go into too much detail about those now, but I will make a future AI specific video and I will talk about why these are the top picks, and I'll look at a few more lower cap alternatives. And again, I will look at some other coins that if you actually wanted to build more of a AI concentrated portfolio, you can look at adding those in there too. So that's that section. The next section is meme coins. So what you'll probably notice with the meme coins is it's coming in at 8%, whereas gaming was 20%, AI was 9%, a little bit less going into memes, and there's a few more of them. What I've tried to do here is kind of spread our risk a little bit more around an extra couple of tokens. I could have gone with sort of 2 or 3 tokens, but I decided to open this up a little bit. And I mean, I don't really have to say too much about meme coins. I did make a video a couple of months back about meme coins and about why I'm including them in the portfolio. Long story short, I was pretty anti-meme coins in the last bull run. I had the opportunity to invest in Dogecoin at some very low prices, and I decided not to, and I have definitely lived to regret that decision. I was telling myself, why the hell am I going to buy a coin that is just a meme of a dog? But I was made to eat my words, and I can see the value in these, especially in the bull run when retail comes into the market. They want a narrative that they can easily get their head around. And when these things pump, they really, really do pump. And we've seen that in the last bull cycle. We've already had a glimpse of it in this bear market or the bear market at the start of the year, where we really saw Pepe absolutely explode from a few million all the way up to over 1 billion market cap. Obviously, it's since corrected. It's sitting at around about 500 million. But there's absolutely no reason why this couldn't go from 500 million to 5 billion or even to 10 billion. I think Shiba Inu in the last bull cycle went up to around about 45 billion. So if Shiba can get to 45 billion, I think Pepe, what am I giving it from here? A 20x. So I'm thinking a 2x to 1 billion times 10 billion. Can Pepe get to 10 billion? I think it can. I definitely think it can. And if it does that, I think Wojak, Bobo, and Bob with smaller market caps will run even harder, as they're all part of the same era of memes. So I expect memes to do well, and they're obviously higher risk. That's why they're a lower allocation of the portfolio, but they are definitely a allocation that I want in this portfolio for sure. And finally, I've got the last narrative, which I said was kind of a little bit more of a mixed bag, but I've given it the title adoption just because I believe that these crypto tokens really have massive adoption narratives, and the use case for these is absolutely enormous. Starting with RLB, Rollbit, it's a GambleFi token. And if you think, you're in a space, crypto already, that seems to attract risk takers, risk takers, you give them a bunch of profits in the bull run, and you let them loose on this gambling exchange, which, by the way, I don't know if it has 100x leverage or more, but I just think, you know, it's already a revenue generating machine. It's a big narrative for this next bull run is GambleFi. We've also got Rollbit. We've also got Blockchain Bets, which has recently been endorsed by Alex Becker, which is starting to get some massive attention too. So, you know, if you did want to differentiate Rollbit and say, look, let's go for maybe number 2 for a competitor or something coming up in the space, you know, feel free to look into maybe something like Blockchain Bets as well. I will make a separate video on Rollbit, Blockchain Bets, and some of the other GambleFi coins out there shortly. But Rollbit, I think it's too big of an opportunity to ignore. Like I say, right now the market cap is around about the 500 million mark. I can see that going easily into several billion. You know, potentially 5 billion, that would be a 10x, but I think more likely potentially up to 20 billion. Again, I've got down here, I think it could do a 20x. That's my current thoughts on Rollbit, so I don't think it's one to sleep on at all. Then we've got Rune. So this is the token for ThorSwap, and we've seen Rune absolutely explode from under $1 to over $6, or it might have come down to around into the 5s now, but it has hit over 6. I think it will keep going. I know that Rune is really climbing up in terms of the volumes that they're doing on their DEX, and for me, it's going to be a big one in the next bull market. Essentially, for you to actually stake on the platform and take advantage of some of the yields, you need to lock up Rune. You need to actually stake Rune to then be able to stake assets such as Bitcoin and Ethereum, which aren't wrapped, which are actually native assets that you could actually put onto ThorSwap. So it's getting a lot of attention at the moment, and I think the narrative will continue to run. And I mean, I've put a 10x on here. From $5, this could get to $50, I think, quite comfortably. And then we've got CRO. So this is Crypto.com's native token for their wallet, for basically their reward token. So what I've got is a Crypto.com card. Every time I spend a card, I get 2% cash back. That cash back comes back to me in the form of CRO. So what I would recommend that you do, if you are interested in actually getting some rewards on your spending, on your day-to-day costs and expenses, looking into Crypto.com. I don't have any partnership with them. I'm not affiliated with them at all. I don't have a super big bag. I've got a fairly modest sort of stake, but for me, it works for me. It's been a way that I can earn a little bit of extra income without changing any of my lifestyle habits. And certainly, I think from today's value, their token has the potential to 10x. They're going to be getting out there. They sponsor F1. They sponsor major sporting events. Come the bull run, they're going to be everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And right now, the token value is fairly cheap. So I do think Crypto.com is going to do very well. Then we've got Casper. So Casper is a relatively new proof of work blockchain, and I'm not an expert on Casper. I don't own very much of it. It's one of those that has just kept on getting away from me, and I haven't really been able to get a decent sized position as I would want to have in it. But it's getting a lot of hype. A lot of people are saying some very, very good things about it. Like it's what Bitcoin should be. It's proof of work. It's also quicker. Everything's working seamlessly and seems to have a really, really bright future and a big potential going forward. So I think Casper has to be allocated. Obviously, it's a new token. It's not experienced the bull run before. We often see that new tokens, because they don't have bag holders, they can really run and run in a bull market due to price discovery, due to FOMO, due to people getting involved, and there's no one really to sell to them. Obviously, the people that are buying, they're not looking to sort of buy one day and sell the next day. And obviously, there's not investors from 2 or 3 years before that are now trying to get out of positions they regret and selling into pumps. There's literally no one to sell into those pumps, because the people that buy them, they're not after a 10 or 20% gain or even a 2x. They're looking for maybe a 5x, 10x, 20x. So yeah, that's why these things, new tokens, can just run and run. And I will definitely make a video and put together a list of tokens that are literally brand new, that have not been around, for you to look at. So stay tuned for that. And the final one is Ator. So this is a privacy blockchain. I actually did a video quite recently on Ator and whether I thought the project was dead or whether I thought the project could actually be revived and still go forward. Market cap of around about, well, was trying to think, is it around about 100 million now? I'll have to look. But anyways, the price had got up to $2. It crashed all the way down to around sort of 40, 50 cents. It's since recovered to about $1. And I think it is always an upwards now for Ator. I do back what the team are trying to do. They're quite ambitious with wanting to come up with their own tool network. But again, I kind of go back to this point that it's an asymmetric bet. Ator is currently around about $1. It could fall to $0, but it also could run all the way up to $50, $100 if the team get things right and deliver on their promises. So, for me, I like the risk return of a project like that, especially with a team that seems to be very dedicated. They've been coming up with lots of updates. So obviously check out my Ator video for more on that. And that completes the portfolio. So that is 100%. So you can see, obviously we've got the percentages here. That obviously translates to our weightings here based on a hypothetical $10,000. What I will do this evening is put in the buy price on this. So like I say, I'm recording this on the 29th of November 2023. I will put in the current prices here. And what we will do is we will come up with periodic reviews of this portfolio to see how it's doing. We can obviously track the current price to our entry to give us, what the sort of profit or loss is at any given time on the portfolio. And then eventually when we come to sell, we can obviously get the date in here, put in the sell prices, and we can see our ROI and our profit and loss on our positions. It's probable that we won't just sell out of everything at the same time. We will look for ideal points to sell these tokens based on the multiples they've done and obviously getting us towards our target. And again, hypothetically, I said I'd reveal it. If we were to invest 10,000 in this portfolio today, where could we be in a couple of years' time? I actually have that figure at over $80,000. So I think this portfolio can do an 8x. You might disagree with me. If you do disagree with me, please do let me know in the comments on which of these tokens you're not a fan of. Also, do let me know if there's tokens that I've missed that I should be including in the portfolio and you'd like me to take a look at in future videos. Like I say, I will come up with future videos exploring these narratives in more detail. For example, videos on gaming cryptos, on AI cryptos, on meme coins. So if you are interested in learning more and ensuring that you take the best out of the opportunity that is in front of us, this bull run that is probably only going to last for 1 to 2 years, they come and go very quickly. So my advice is do not miss out on this opportunity. Obviously, please do not copy anything I've said today. This is for entertainment purposes only. This is not financial advice. So always do your own research. It's your money and it's your decisions when it comes to the markets. But I'm telling you, this is my portfolio. If I had to create a portfolio today, this is what I'd be building. Like I say, there are other tokens that I will look at within these narratives that I will run through in later videos. So if you do want to get that information, please do subscribe so you don't miss out. I think something like out of all my views, 80% of my viewers are not subscribed. So please do subscribe, help support the channel, and I will see you all very soon. Have a great rest of the week and speak to you soon.